Sunday morning. I have been up practically all night woodworking. Pardon me for my dress. I'm not wearing a dress. I mean the way I'm dressed. Pardon me for the shirt. I don't mean to show off so much skin. But Sunday morning, I have been up practically all night and woodworking. So what am I doing up now? Well, like every other good-looking, chubby woodworking guy in Ohio, I slept about 2 hours, and I am going to tell the story of how I watched a guy blow his rear end off. So, here goes. I said I would tell the story. Here it is. So, I was much younger, and I was about... Where'd I put my coffee? Why am I asking? You don't know where my coffee is. I'm the guy who... Okay, there's my coffee. Okay, now that I've got a glass of consciousness here, or mug, I can tell you the story. So, I was a lot younger. Yes, Sunday morning I'm listening to terrible music on NPR or something. But anyways, I was a lot younger. I don't know, maybe 20, 21? I don't know. I can't recall. But I was working at a steel plant, a drop forging plant here in another town over. And I wasn't actually working in the plant. I was a security guard there. And make a long story short, guy who worked there threatened to go postal on the office people. So they told us guards they wanted us armed. So we had to go and do a state firearm test. And so I'm like, okay, well, great. You guys are already paying me next to no money. And now I got to go buy a gun and pay all this money because they didn't even pay for it. They didn't pay for the course or whatever. So that security bit was crappy. But so, ended up buying my gun. Ended up getting an automatic Makarov East German pistol. It's a little styled after I'm trying to think if that's a PPK, little James Bond gun. But it shoots a Makarov 9mm, which is, of course, different than American 9mm. But anyway, so go to this course, and tobacco alert. Go to this course, and, I'm going to turn the camera. My garage light thing just went off, so I don't have lots of awesome light. So, go to the course, and there's a whole bunch of guys there, and, there's some other young kids working security crap, that think they're like Rambo and stuff. And it was a weird experience because, to me, I got the gun and everything because it was part of my job. I didn't think I was Dirty Harry or some crap like that, but some people out there in the security guard world are, think they're like Rambo or something, and I got to meet some of those fine folks. And so I go there. I already know how to use my pistol and everything. I grew up using guns and stuff. Not automatics, but, I went out. out of the city limits and shot some cardboard boxes with my automatic when I got it. And I'm like, okay, not a big deal. But I'm there. There's 20, 25 people there. And I can't remember how many days it was. I mean, gosh, this is probably over 20 years ago. So, people were talking. Some of these guys know each other. The owner of the company I worked for was a retired police chief. And he was pretty cool. So, anyways, word starts getting around about this old timer there. And the oldest dude who was in the class. And I'm wanting to say he was in his early 60s, maybe. Not sure. I'm not going to mention his name because he's a big part of this story. And, I don't want to be, trampling somebody's name. Okay? But it's a good story. So, stay with me. I'm trying to straighten the camera up so this isn't looking like some weird German expressionist movie or something. So, word starts getting around about, man, that guy, he's a champion handgunner. And it was me and two guys who were working at the same post. And my boss who was instructing the course. Those are the only people I really knew. So we're like, oh, that's cool. And then it's like, no. He has competed in state and national whatever combat handgun things. I'm like, well, that's really cool. Cool. And more talk from these guys around there. Not me and my two buddies that I work with, though. And, people keep talking this dude up. And I'm like, and I'm there, jeans, t-shirt, whatever. And, so are me and my buddies. And, this dude comes in and he's got, fancy, tactical clothing and crap like that. And, he's got these sunglasses with eye blacked out over here. This is that super handgunner guy. And, I'm like, but these guys, these other people keep talking about this dude, like, oh, watch out for him or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not going to get in a shootout with this guy. I guess we were supposed to be really impressed. And this guy, even though he was an old timer and a retired police officer, I'm not saying what police department, he actually was an instructor. And from what I understood was, so much time had passed and he had to requalify to keep instructing, I guess. And that's why he was there. He already knew what he was doing. He just had to officially do it, And so, but I think one of the early days, we do something where, he's bringing in, mind you, this guy probably at home probably has hundreds of guns. If he's anything like the guys I know who are really, crazy about their firearms, dude probably has hundreds of them. And he kept bringing in this old 1911 Colt 1911 45. And he kept having problems with this damn gun, man. And kept jamming on him and everything else while we were doing the shooting stuff. And in fact, the one day, it's jamming up on him. And then the next day he brings in the same gun again. I guess he had worked on it at home. Brought it in the next day and he gets a stovepipe jam And he's trying to clear this thing, ends up just ripping across the meat of his palm, gashing that apart. And I'm thinking, you know, man, this dude probably, that is not his only handgun. That is not his only automatic. No way. You know, with the way everybody's bragging him up and he's carrying himself, you know, this guy has guns. So, and all during the course, this guy wasn't paying any attention to anybody. And, you know, and what was great was in the shoot, and when we were doing shooting, it was an indoor range, and you got the little stalls, you know, right next to one another. And one of the Rambo guys, young guy, who was all pumped up about getting to be a security guard and thrown into some of the nastiest areas of this city he was working in so he could run around with a gun. I'm shooting at my target, and I noticed that my silhouette and the little actuator or whatever that the target's getting pulled on, that idiot was shooting mine, the kid next to me.